So in this particular lecture, let's go ahead and let's design a page which is the feed page which displays posts from all the user. So we already have this particular page which displays our very own post, but in a social media website, you also need a page which will display posts from all the users of our website. Now designing this particular page is pretty simple. Basically, it has the same structure or HTML structure as the My Post page. The only change that's going to happen here is that instead of getting our very own posts, we are going to get the posts of each and every user who is actually present on our site. So let's go ahead and let's work on creating that particular feed page. So first of all, let's start off with creating a view. So in order to create a view, I'll go to the views.py file. So let me just go back here. Let's go to the posts, and here let's go inside the views. Now in here, I have to create a view, and let's call that particular view as something like feed. So I'll go ahead and I will say def feed because it's going to power up the user feed. This is going to accept a request as usual. And then first of all, we just have to go ahead and get all the posts from all the users. So in order to get all the posts from all the users, I simply have to go ahead and make use of the post model which we have. So we have to first import that model. So I would say from .models import the post model. Now once we have this model, we are free to get all the objects out of this particular model. So in order to get all the objects here, I would simply go ahead and say posts to get all the post equals post.objects.all, and this is actually going to give us access to all the posts which we have. And now we simply have to pass these particular posts to a certain template. So here I would say return and render a template, but first pass in a request. So I would say request, and then I would say posts / and let's say we want to create a template which is called as feed.html. And to this particular template, we have to pass in the posts which we have gotten from here. So in order to pass them, I would say posts and pass in posts here. Okay, so now our job is to go ahead and create this feed.html template. So let's go ahead and do that right away. So right inside the template, inside posts, we simply have the create.html. So I'll also create another one like feed.html. And now the best thing is you don't have to write all the code which you have over here in the feed.html. You simply have to go ahead and copy the code which you already have powering up this page, which is my post page. So this particular my post page which we have up over here is powered by the page which is index.html. So if you go to the app which is users app, if you go to templates inside of it, and if you actually take a look at this index.html, this page or this HTML code is the one which powers up that page. Now you simply have to go ahead, copy the entire thing from here and paste it up into feed.html. And here we have already looped through all the posts, and we have basically displayed the title, caption and everything up over here. So once this thing is done, now we have basically added the code for feed.html. So that means this feed.html page is ready. We also have this view created. Now we simply have to associate this particular view with a URL pattern. So in order to do that, I'll actually go back and go to the urls.py file, which is this file right here, and associate the current view with a new URL pattern. So for the feed page, I will say, let's say the path is going to be feed, and the view which is going to be associated with this is going to be the feed view. So view start feed, and the name of this thing is going to be feed. So now once this thing is done, let's see if this feed URL works. So here I'll go back, I'll go to /posts /feed. And if I go back here, as you can see, now we have the post showing up over here. Now the problem with this is that this is actually working, but we are not sure if it's actually able to retrieve all the posts from all the users. So in order to check that, let's actually go to admin. So I'll open up another tab here and I would go to admin. So currently if I go to posts, as you can see, we only have 2 posts here. So let's create another post by some other user. So here I'll select a user like Pat. I'll choose a file, which is image file. So I've chosen an image file. I would say this is the caption. And then I will select a title like title. The slug is going to be automatically generated if I save this. Now, as you can see, we have this post with a title as title. Now, if I go back to the older tab, which we have here, if I hit refresh, now as you can see, you'll also be able to see this particular post by Pat. But now the problem is that we are actually able to go ahead and retrieve the username and everything, but we are not able to retrieve the user image. And there's a specific reason for that. And that reason is, if you actually take a look at the feed.html, as you can see, the way in which we get the profile picture is that we say profile.photo.url. But now this isn't going to work because right now we are not passing in any kind of profile there. So if you actually take a look at the view which actually runs the index page, so in order to access that view, you actually have to go to the users app. So let's go to users. If you go to the view which runs the index template, so let's take a look at this view. Let's take a look at the index view which we have. So this is a login, this is edit. Okay, so here we have the index view right here, and to this index view we were actually passing in this profile object as context. But right now if you go to this view, we are not passing that anymore, and that's because we don't want to access an individual's profile, but instead we actually want to go ahead and access the profile associated with the person who's associated with a specific post. So in that particular case, we have to make some modifications to our feed.html page. And the first modification which you have to make here is that instead of getting access to the profile, here instead what I would say is that I would say first get the post, because we are getting access to the post here from all the posts. So every post is going to be associated with the user. So I would say post.user, and then I will access the user's profile, so .profile, and then finally I will access the profile photo. So I would say photo. But we cannot just stop there. We also have to access the URL of that photo, because for image source you have to pass in a URL. So here I will say URL. And now finally this thing would be functional. So let's see if that thing works. So I'll go back here to the browser. If I hit refresh this time, as you can see, now we have the username, the profile picture, the entire post displayed up over here without any issues. So as you can see, now the feed page is fully functional. So now we have created this particular feed functionality, which kind of gives you an overview of all the posts which are uploaded by all the users present on our website. Now from the next lecture onwards, let's start designing the functionality to like a particular image. So for example, when I click this particular heart icon, it should actually go ahead and like that particular image. So let's learn how exactly we could do that in the next one.